I'm Marvin Scott. Today, we dip into the vault to revive some of the exciting stories I've covered here at PIX over the past 45 years, and some of the most exciting have been with the military. In one report, you're going to buckle up your seat because I'm going to take you into the back seat of an F-16. I got to fly with the Thunderbirds, the Air Force demonstration team. And then I'll take you into the back seat of an F-15 on the first year after the terror attacks of 9/11. We flew over Ground Zero. And then I'll give you a moment to catch your breath. Then I'll take you aboard the aircraft carrier JFK, John F. Kennedy. We came up the East Coast from Mayport, Florida to New York. And I'll show you how exciting it is to be aboard an aircraft carrier with a crew of 5,000 sailors and officers. I'm very happy to be joined here and digging into my vault by my dear colleague and friend, Monica Morales. Monica, you make it happen.
You make it happen, and I'm fastening my seatbelt now. I can't wait to hear these stories and ask you some questions about it.
All right, so should we take off?
Let's take off.
Okay. I was invited to ride the back seat of a fighting plane, the Fighting Falcon, the F-16. Take a look.
Thunderbirds ready now.
For 43 years, the Air Force Thunderbirds have been delivering high-voltage thrills to audiences around the world. With the loops and the rolls that require split-second timing, these combat-ready pilots perform an aerial ballet in planes that soar through the timeless skies faster than the speed of sound. Making the transformation from civilian to Thunderbird is as quick as that. I'm ready to fly. I was given a rare opportunity to join the Thunderbirds as a passenger. But first, there was the orientation and fitting into an entirely new wardrobe, a flight suit, a G-suit.
When you start pulling G-forces, air automatically runs through this hose, going into the bladders. The bladders entail pushing down on the lower extremities of your body, keeping the blood into the upper regions of your body where it's supposed to be.
Like a giant bird readying for flight, the sleek F-16 Fighting Falcon with a price tag of $23 million glistens in the morning sun. For the punishment my body was about to take, the flight surgeon had a crucial question.
Have you had any types of heart problems before, lung problems, collapsed lungs?
No, everything's fine.
Okay. Can you spit to that, sir? How's that feel? A little tight in the neck?
My size. No red carpet or first-class accommodations here. You have to climb to your seat in a space that feels like it's molded to the contour of your body. Captain Dan Torway, a 13-year Air Force veteran, is my pilot. Before we go up, a quick lesson on how to come down, just in case. A chilling thought indeed.
So when we take the runway, I'll say, hey, let's go ahead and arm our ejection seat, which is that lever by your left leg. If you just take this and put that down like that, we'll be all set, ready to go.
A quick salute from the ground crew, and we begin to taxi down the runway. My pulse quickens in excitement, but strangely, I feel no sense of fear. The throttle edges forward, and in 20 seconds, we go from 0 to 400 miles per hour, and we climb at 500 feet per second.
It feels like being let out of a slingshot, pull back, and wow!
That's about 4 G's there.
4 G's.
Hey, look over your shoulder, Marvin.
Oh,
see us just climbing away from the ground. 3, 4 seconds.
I can feel that G-suit taking effect. Oh, we're upside down.
We're flying alone over southern New Jersey. Civilians are not permitted to join in those hair-raising formation maneuvers. My breathing is heavy as I brace for the next maneuver.
There's 1,
2, 3, 4.
All right.
Piece of cake.
Why don't you try one of those?
I should try it.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll take a couple of extras. 5.
If ever there was a time to say, gee whiz, this certainly was it. There's a sense of surrealism as we accelerate to 600 miles per hour, the ground rushing below, my body tightening. Captain Torway offers to take me to 9 Gs, making my body 9 times its normal weight under the force of gravity. My body is frozen, the mind is alert, but I feel paralyzed.
I can't move. I cannot. The body's frozen. Okay.
Okay. How was that?
Feel like a 2,000-pound elephant pressing against my chest.
Other than feeling a little clammy, my stomach was still intact. For a change of pace, my pilot brought the aircraft down to 0 Gs, putting me in a momentary state of weightlessness, just like the astronauts.
As much as I'm harnessed in here, I'm feeling my body lifting. There goes my glove.
For me, this was better than the best roller coaster ride. But after an hour, I sure was glad to have the runway back in sight.
What a ride. It really was. It was exhilarating.
Amazing, Marvin. I mean, you're so calm under pressure in the newsroom. Were you nervous? Tell me the truth.
No,
What?
I was excited. I couldn't wait to get off the ground. I need to tell you, when I was pulling those 9 Gs,
What does that feel like? What does that feel like?
it felt like a paralysis of sorts for those 20 seconds that we were in a weightless. And how you get to that position is he takes the plane to a high, and then he reverses it into a high-speed dive. So for those 20 or 30 seconds, you feel weightless. And as you can saw when I let the glove go over my face, because I was so strapped into that aircraft,
Thank
I
goodness.
couldn't move. But also, I was wearing a pressure suit. So at that moment, when you're pulling 9 Gs, you have these bubbles, these air pockets that fill so it keeps your blood circulating
It's
throughout your body.
incredible.
It was an incredible ride. I tell you, it gives you a new perspective of what pilots go through and the training it takes to fly those mighty aircrafts. That plane goes at Mach 2, which is like about 1,200 miles per hour. And it can go to a height of, it flies as high as 55,000 feet as well. And one of the things I disappointed the ground crew,
Why?
I gave them a backup piece of standard equipment. I gave them back an empty bag.
Oh, you didn't get sick? That's great. I mean, I would have tossed my cookies, I think. But
No,
yeah.
but I did. I have to tell you, afterwards, I felt a little woozy for about an hour getting my ground legs back.
You know what I love is that you're doing this for us. We're living it through you, and you're brave enough and have a courage enough to do it.
Well, it's taking the viewers someplace they would not have an opportunity to be and what it's like. And I'm excited to be able to tell the story. All right, we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, I'll take you for a ride aboard the F-15. We fly over Ground Zero 1 year after the terror attacks. One year after the horrific terror attacks of 9/11, I talked an Air Force contact into getting me into an F-15 to fly over Ground Zero on the first anniversary of those attacks. And I flew with one of the pilots who was one of the first to scramble on that awful day. This is what it was like.
Within hours of the attacks, 300 fighters were in the air across the continental United States, a dramatic increase from the only 14 planes on armed alert that morning. 2 F-15s from the 102nd Fighter Wing at Otis Air National Guard Base on Cape Cod were the first to scramble.
We're pretty much in the dark as to what was going on. All we were given was the suspected hijacking of American 11, an altitude and a heading to fly.
Identified only by his military code name, Nasty is a veteran pilot who has flown missions over Iraq's no-fly zone. His wingman that day was Duff, a reservist who was a commercial airline pilot.
Something just didn't feel right to me.
Neither pilot had any idea that the moment they lifted off, 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 had sliced into the North Tower. While Duff was at the Pentagon last week for the unveiling of a painting depicting his flight that fateful day, Nasty was suiting up for a combat patrol mission over Manhattan, allowing me to join him in the back seat of an F-15 Eagle, a $30 million aircraft capable of soaring at twice the speed of sound. Pulling 3 Gs, we climb rapidly into the sky above Cape Cod, where we join 4 other F-15s in formation, armed with dummy Sparrow and Sidewinder missiles for a training mission over the Atlantic. These planes are interceptors designed to take down other aircraft.
Mad Dog 1, Huntress, descend flight level 250.
Visibility this day is unlimited, much the way it was last September 11th.
It was a very clear day, more clear than today. There were no clouds at all, and the smoke was very visible from 100 miles away.
Racing to New York at supersonic speeds topping 1,000 miles an hour, Nasty and Duff were just 8 minutes away when United Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower.
We got there as fast as we could, and I believe that we did everything humanly possible.
I'm not sure, even if we had a chance to be there before the second airplane hit, if we'd have been able to have done much more. I think we really would have been escorts of a second airplane hitting a second tower.
We did have somebody come on the radio and say, you may have to shoot down the next hijack track.
But Nasty claims that was an off-the-cuff remark by a civilian controller. Though armed with Sparrow and Sidewinder air-to-air missiles, the pilot says no order was ever given to shoot down an airliner.
Had the order been given, could you have done it?
After seeing what happened, yes, I knew it was a terrorist attack. And as far as it being the start of World War III.
You have to look at that airplane as a weapon. You can't look at it as a container of individuals or a container of passengers. It is a weapon.
From 21,000 feet, New York looks majestic and serene, a kaleidoscope of architectural diversity. Just below us are two F-16 Falcon fighter jets on a combat air patrol. Part of the Syracuse Air National Guard, they fly over Ground Zero. From 4 miles up, it's a small hole in the ground, but the knot I feel in my stomach serves as a painful reminder of the magnitude of what happened there. Flashbacks of last September 11th remain vivid. The two F-15 pilots were flying over the North Tower when it collapsed.
I was looking straight down at it when it just started falling away from me. At that moment, that was the sickest feeling I've ever had in an airplane.
I just thought I watched 30,000 people die. My emotions, mostly anger. The way they did it is what really is frustrating for anybody in the military. Because they used unconventional means. They used our own airplanes as kamikaze weapons.
Feeling helpless that they could do no more, the two fighter pilots immediately took reign of the airspace over New York, and for 5.5 hours served as an armed eye in the sky against any further attack.
Mad Dog 1 cleared to land.
As we return to the base on Cape Cod, Nasty tells me he still seethes with anger, but he tries not to dwell on it. With responsibility for protecting a 500,000 square mile radius, the 102nd Fighter Wing feels it's ready to deal with any new threat.
Without a doubt, we are. There's no question. We've got more airplanes on alert. We've got more airplanes airborne, obviously, which we didn't have on September 10th, let alone September 11th.
On the first anniversary of an American trauma, the pilot who defended New York echoes the sentiment of just about everyone.
I still find it hard to believe.
It's amazing. I have to say, when I watch these stories, they seem dangerous. They seem like you're in danger, but you never think of that when you're in the cockpit. You're thinking, tell the story, give us the viewpoint, give us the view, right?
Often I'm asked that question, Monica, were you scared? And my answer is, afterwards.
It's a good answer. Because in the moment, you don't.
I think of the potential danger there is, but not when I'm doing it or going to it, but it's afterwards. Did you do that? Yes, I did.
I'm sure your family members on the ground are thinking that too. How meaningful was this trip and memorable?
It left a gut inside me. It just, being about 3,000 or 4,000 feet above ground zero and seeing that emptiness down there, knowing what was there before, knowing how many lives were lost, it just, inside of me at that moment, just got a chill. But it was awesome to see it from such a height. And while we were flying, I think I have a picture here. We saw two F-16s from the Albany National Guard. And my pilot, military name, code name was Nasty. He said, he's talking to the pilots of these two planes from Albany, and he said, "Smile, you're on candid camera."
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And he said, "Do you have any instructions?" And I said, "Okay, can you just zip around, fly over ground zero?"
Yes.
I wanted to get a picture of the flight of the two F-16s flying over. And I grabbed a quick picture of that.
That's incredible.
It was just an awesome experience.
Life-changing?
At that moment, the feeling I had inside of the loss of so many lives and the terror attacks and wanting to get those people responsible, and knowing here I was flying over it and seeing it, it just left an emptiness inside of me. It was an awful moment, and it was a heart-wrenching moment for me.
Yeah. Never forget. Thanks for sharing that. I think it's important historically to have that moment.
It was
Yeah. I see you're getting very emotional about it.
it was a moment. Anyway, as exciting as that was, I have another exciting moment to share with you.
Can't wait. What's next?
Cameraman John Frazzi
We love
and
John. We love John.
we came up the East Coast aboard the USS John F. Kennedy, mighty nuclear power aircraft carrier, coming up here for the parade of ships to mark the centennial. And we'll take a look at that when we come back. As exciting as those flights aboard the F-16 and F-15 were, just as exciting was a trip aboard one of a pride of the United States Navy, the aircraft carrier USS John F. Kennedy. Cameraman John Frazzi and I, we boarded the ship in Mayport, Florida, the home port, and we came up the East Coast for it to take part in an international parade of ships for the centennial. And here's what the ride was like.
When you first come aboard, you can't help but be overwhelmed by the size. 23 stories high, 252 feet wide, and the flight deck is so long, if you stood her on its side, the USS John F. Kennedy would stand as tall as the Empire State Building. Big John, as this carrier is called, is a self-contained floating city. It's not exactly the Hilton. Most of the crew is berthed in rooms that contain racks or bunks. Measuring 2 feet by 6 feet, this living space gives new meaning to the word cramped.
This is my space right here. A little bit of everything. Just gotta fold everything neatly so it fits in there.
The Kennedy has its own television station, a general store, a post office, a bank, a barber shop, a dental clinic, and an operating room. While the mission of this carrier is to keep the peace, it is also responsible for maintaining the peace of mind of a very hungry crew. This galley is responsible for preparing some 14,000 meals each and every day. Think you have it tough at the barbecue? Listen to how many steaks this cook has prepared.
This will be about 500 right now.
Menu is varied, anything from steak to pasta to lobster. On this day, 1,500 pounds of crab legs are a special treat.
You can't afford to do this every day. I mean, I only get $6.15 per man per day.
Petty Officer Cordelia Vernon of Brooklyn is a food supervisor. Her greatest challenge?
Customer satisfaction.
It's better than most that I've had aboard ship. Something to eat, something to get you to the next meal.
I got about halfway through this meal and was about ready to walk over to the candy machines and get me a Snicker bar, a Coke, and be on my merry way.
It takes some adjusting to move about on an aircraft carrier. You climb out of holes, go through holes, and you have to navigate stairs or ladders with a steep incline. And there's no running through the passageways. These so-called knee knockers certainly will slow you down. And so will your height. If you happen to be over 6 feet tall, like Brian Dodge, who stands 6.5 feet tall.
You tend to hit your head a lot on the pipes. They kind of tear you up after a while. Watch out for the passageways. You just gotta duck a lot.
A contrast in sound. Below deck, the melodic tones of a gospel service in the multi-denominational chapel. While topside, there's the roar of the F-14s and F-18s being catapulted off the carrier. And returning planes latching onto arresting cables in spectacular landings on the sprawling flight deck. Flight operations may be the heartbeat of this carrier, but its pulse is the people. Most of them are volunteers, and as commanding officer Captain Michael Miller points out, they are young.
Over half of John F. Kennedy's crew is under the age of 24.
For 065.
Women play an integral role aboard the Kennedy. They number 545 among the crew of 3,000. In her 16 years in the Navy, Tammy Campbell has risen to the rank of lieutenant commander.
Well, we all get treated the same. For the most part, we're all just one big family.
Our test cell gear, where your PTO shaft is going to be placed.
Aviation machinist mate Jessie Rosemond is a lifeline for the pilots.
We want to know that the engine is safe enough to be up there as if we would be in that aircraft.
18-year-old Sedacia Stevenson of the Bronx wasn't sure she made the right decision when she signed up for the Navy.
When you first get here, you know, it's like, oh my God, I want to go home. I can't believe this, what I get myself into. But then, you know, when you get used to it, it's okay. You get used to a paycheck every 2 weeks.
The days are long and the work is hard for the crew, even in times of peace. They spend their downtime in 3 gymnasiums, or running in the cavernous hangar deck, or watching television, or swinging shots into the world's longest fairway. As Big John steamed toward New York to serve as the flagship for the International Naval Review, members of her crew gathered on deck to express their sentiment about the city where they'll be getting their long-anticipated shore leave. She's a floating symbol of America's military strength. At 1,050 feet, USS John F. Kennedy is longer than 3 football fields, an aging warrior traversing the world in time of peace. The heartbeat of this carrier is its flight operation. Its F-14 and F-18 jet fighters have flown combat missions in the Mediterranean and Persian Gulf. It is steam that powers the catapults that literally explode the planes off the deck. For the crew, they're called shooters. Hooking the planes to the cat takes precision coordination.
It's absolutely teamwork. There are about 25 men and women that run each catapult. They range from 18 to about as old as 30 years old.
When the pilot's ready to go, he'll salute the catapult officer.
When I touch the deck and point forward, the operator to actually push the fire button, and away the airplane goes.
Pilots liken it to being in a slingshot. You're in tension and waiting, and suddenly you're let go from 0 to 150 miles per hour in just under 2 seconds. The real challenge is landing a speeding jet on 4.5 acres of rolling real estate in a vast ocean. The pilots lock in on an optical landing system that guides them to the center of the deck. The tailhook catches the arresting cable. They're called traps that bring the plane to a jolting stop.
It's a controlled crash. You're flying yourself down, you hit those wires, and it pulls you forward in your seat, and within a second you've gone from 150 miles an hour to 0. It takes the breath right out of you, and it's the most exhilarating experience you've ever felt.
You're cleared. All flight operations are coordinated by the so-called air boss from his perch high above the flight deck. He knows all too well that one slip-up could be catastrophic.
Extremely hazardous when you're thinking about a 54,000-pound airplane or 26, 27-ton airplane that's going to be landing on a deck at 150 miles an hour and stopping in 300 feet.
A medical study of Navy pilots during combat missions measured things like pulse and heart rate. But it was found that the needle quivered the most when the pilots came back to land on the deck of an aircraft carrier.
I've had nights where you land, you park, you just sit there for a little while. You don't want to move yet because your knees are still shaking a little bit. You never get used to it. It's too much fun. It's so exhilarating, but at the same time, it's really work.
Today, it's training off the Atlantic coast. Tomorrow, it could be combat off an unfriendly coast. When the president resorts to military force, usually it's the carrier pilots who are the first to go. Pilots who have learned well how to live life on the edge. There are moments in journalism where the line between observer and participant blur in such incredible ways that you'll never forget. And that was certainly one of those experiences, Monica.
It's incredible. Like a memory. Could you share one memory that really sticks with you to this day that you could share with us?
What I share with you is the people I met, the pilots, the sailors, the young people who are defending this country. and the patriotic fervor I felt on all of those trips. I mean, nasty on the F-15. You heard me ask him the question, could you have shot down a passenger plane? And he said, given what had happened, if I was given that order, he said, yes, with a heavy heart. Meeting the officers aboard the JFK, so young and so vibrant and full of life and wanting to defend this country. And that aircraft carrier had been involved in the Cold War. It also served as a recovery ship for the space program. That ship I was on is no longer in existence. It was scrapped earlier this year in Texas.
Really?
It was decommissioned, scrapped, but it's coming back in 2027 in Newport, Virginia. The new aircraft carrier, JFK, John F. Kennedy, is under construction.
So cool.
And it'll be back in service in 2 years.
Isn't that incredible? But I love that you said it's the people. Isn't it always the heroes? It's the heroes that you meet. And what are the lessons learned, you think, meeting these incredible, having those front row seats to all
One
of these?
lesson: don't mess with the USA.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway, Monica, so good to share these stories in my vault.
Yes.
There are so many more. Over 45 years. There's so much in there, and I'm digging through them to bring them out
I
each
can't
on these
wait. Each week,
programs.
I can't wait. I can't
So
wait to what you're going to show us.
next week, we'll dig into the vault. Next week will mark 62 years since the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And I happen to have an exclusive interview with the man who filmed that awful moment, Abraham Zapruder. The museum in Dallas tells me I was only one of 5 people he ever spoke to. And I will show you and tell you what he told me as to why he was convinced there was only one shooter. I'll tell you all about that next time we dig into Marvin's Vault.